Yo, it's Joe. What's up, everybody? We are back again with another video, and the year is almost over. So, with the year being passed, I want to go over my top 10 movies of the year, ranked from 10 to 1. And this doesn't mean because I gave a film 5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5. This is me after rewatching films and sitting down and thinking about it, coming up with 10 movies that I enjoyed most this year. Now, number 10 is 1917. This is a recent film that I reviewed. All these films I've reviewed, and you can go ahead and check them out on my page. But 1917, to me, the way it was beautifully shot, and the direction by Sam Mendes was just made it one of the best movies of the year, and I could not deny it here, even though it may be a little biased because I just saw it. I haven't had as much time as some of these other films to sit and think about them, but it's stuck in my head the way Roger Deakins was able to do things in this movie and Sam Mendes was able to direct it, that I just had to have it on my top 10 list. Number 9, I have Queen and Slim. Just a great story, something that I felt like needed to be said, needed to be seen this year. And obviously Daniel Kaluuya is a great actor and he gives a great performance here. And I love all the small messages this film had to say. And yeah, I did think that some of them took away from the film, but it is an incredible story. And I think the great chemistry that we see on screen is something to behold. Number 8, we have Dr. Sleep. The sequel we didn't know we needed. And I know that there's books of Dr. Sleep, but the way they were able to incorporate this into the changes they made in the Shining movie, and Ewan McGregor's performance as Danny Torrance, the surprise things that we see in this movie, the way they would to show off The Shining, and just all the characters that were introduced into this film to build this world even bigger after so many years of it being on ice, I thought was just a great thing. And I would love to see some type of follow-up if we ever were to get something like that. Number 7, I have El Camino. It had to be on here, guys. I was the biggest Breaking Bad fan ever. I was so sad, yet so satisfied with the ending of that show. And I always wonder what would happen with Jesse. And I finally got to tell that, to see that story being told through Netflix. Jesse Pinkman's story it came full circle for him. It was beautiful. It was the perfect follow-up, which is such a hard thing to do with a huge hit show like Breaking Bad. But I think they did it perfectly. I think Aaron Paul delivered the best performance I've ever seen him give. And it's a shame that he's not, being looked at as any of these contentions for awards, because this was a movie. And I think that it should be in some type of contention for some type of awards. I don't know. Maybe because it's a movie based from a TV show that they just didn't really know where to put it. So that's why I got lost in the shuffle. But it's just some great stuff. Obviously, nostalgia's there. And just to be back in that world was something that I really enjoyed this year. Number 6, we have Uncut Gems. What a ride. I told you guys I thought Adam Sandler was award worthy in this film, and he really is. He just brings out his best in this film. The Safdie brothers bring it out of him. The way they shoot things and their dialogue and just the hectic pace they have with their movies. This was just a phenomenal, wild, adrenaline-packed ride. And I've already watched Uncut Gems twice, and I'm sure it'll be a third time before the year is all the way over. Number 5, we have The Lighthouse. Now, I thought these were two of the best performances I've seen all year. Robert Pattinson is being supremely underrated. I'm not hearing about him in any type of awards contention. This is the best I've seen him. I liked him in Good Time, but I think he was better here. I thought that there was surprise comedy here, it being shot in black and white, them building the whole set. The set pieces were amazing. William Dafoe brings it. The story is just so wild and crazy and creepy. And this may have been the best horror movie of the year, if you think about it in that way, because of how creepy it was. And the visuals here, the lighthouse being so haunting, the music, the noises, everything about this film was just damn near perfect. And The Lighthouse is one of those films that you notice a little bit more detail, something different every time you see it. And I've done that because I think I've seen this movie 3 or 4 times. Yes, I'm a huge movie buff. I watch all these movies numerous times. I think the only one I haven't watched twice on this list yet was my number 10, which is 1917. But Lighthouse is definitely, it had to be in the top five. For a while it was in my top two, but I thought about it a little bit more and some things came up and then it got bumped out of there. But number four, I would have to go with Avengers Endgame. How could I not? The finale of a 10-year story, the culmination of all this, just starting from Iron Man, the send-offs, the just everything about this, the huge team ups, just fan service, just everything you could ever want was in Avengers Endgame. I seriously think this is probably, it's hard because The Dark Knight is so good and there's other films as well that are very, very good. But this has got to be top 3 best comic book movies of all time. I don't care what the critics say. I don't care what the score says, if it says otherwise. It's really, really that good of a film. Probably one of the best villains we've ever gotten in Thanos, even though his story is a little bit different in this film. Just the way they were able to blend time travel and everybody seemed to get their moment in the sun. And it truly was something that I'll tell my kids about, like how people tell their kids about seeing Star Wars for the first time. I'll tell my kids about seeing Avengers Endgame. So that's definitely got to be my number 4. I know it may be surprising that it's that low, but the other movies are definitely worthwhile. So number 3, we have Joker. This movie was so great. Joaquin Phoenix, if he does not win an Oscar for this, it's probably the biggest upset ever. There's other people in contention, but I think he was just so good. He carried this film. To me, I think he was the best Joker I've ever seen. That was so hard because The Dark Knight is probably 1 or 2 of my favorite movies of all time. Heath Ledger is an icon. He's phenomenal. But for Phoenix to carry this and us to see the transformation that he makes in this film, physically, mentally, it was amazing. I really, really, and he didn't have the help of Batman or another villain or anything like that. And yeah, there's sources here you could say that, oh, well, there's a little bit of that in there that can help him out a little bit. And it does lean on the lore just a little bit, but it's a Joker story like we never seen before. It's the Joker story we didn't know we needed. We all knew Joaquin Phoenix was great, and then whenever he stepped into a superhero role, it would be great. But did we think it was going to be this awards worthy? And who thought Todd Phillips could direct a movie like this? We really had no idea. And the way they were to make Gotham such a dark and gritty and dirty place, such a lived-in place, and you get to see the other side of the Wayne family and even just Joker's origin, but also kind of Batman's origin, and just everything about this and how there's so many clues and hints and things that you can go back and watch this film, things and you see them a little bit differently. Joker was just a phenomenal movie, and if I was a sane man, it would probably be number 1. But my number 2 is Marriage Story. Now, this film was so unexpected for me because I'm not the big into the whole thing. My parents were divorced when I was younger, and it took a toll on me. And just seeing these people who love one another have to absolutely tear each other apart, just because they knew they could not work, but yet they still loved each other. They wanted to make it work for their kid. They tried to cover up things for him, but they also at the same time want to do what's best for them, be a little selfish for once in their life. And you see none of them are perfect, which is great, because I know a lot of people compared this to Kramer versus Kramer, which I felt like that had a antagonist and a protagonist. This here, you kind of feel bad for both of them. You feel good for both of them. You want to see both of them happy. You want to see both of them not get treated like dirt, and they do, and they both get driven to points where you did not want them to be driven to, and you feel bad, like I said, for both of them. You just want them to be happy. You want them to be able to have their son, and it's so hard to choose sides in this movie, and I think that's just beautiful directing. And Adam Driver is probably the one person in contention for Joaquin Phoenix who could possibly dethrone him for the Oscar. It's a very close race. I think this is the best we've ever seen Adam Driver. He makes very good movies. Not always movies that people see, but he's always great. And he's just the way he goes through an emotional arc here where he's very stoic. He doesn't really show a lot of emotion. He's always the calm one. And then you just see him crack and break until he can't take it anymore and he just explodes. And the way you see Scarlett Johansson's character is more of a pushover. And then she becomes more strong, selfish, and just really wanting to live out her dreams. And obviously Laura Dern is just great in the supporting role. Everybody does a very good job. The music, the shots, it's such a great story that everybody can relate to, unfortunately, because a lot of people have witnessed or been a part of divorces, and it's not always pretty. Even when people love each other, it could still get a little dirty, and that's what we see here. And I think Noah Baumbach just does a phenomenal job, and he'll definitely be up for Best Director and Best Picture. But we are finally here, guys. My number one. I bet a bunch of people do not know what this movie is. I raved about this movie when I saw it, and I said when I did my review for it that it would probably be my number one movie of the year. It really got to me that much. And my number one movie is you know what? Well, I wonder. I want you guys to put down in the comment section below what your top 10 movies are as well. And I really want you guys to let me know what you guys think about this list and just some of the great experiences you guys had at the movie theater this year and things like that. I really, really am curious about what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. But my number one, I won't hold off anymore. I just want to say that it is The Farewell. I think this movie was perfect. It really, really was. And it could have easily been one of those movies that only connects to a certain audience because it's technically like a foreign film, and you know, to its Asian audience, it would have probably represented something different. But it really, really spoke to me because I could see the difficulties of dealing with two different lifestyles. Of, you know, she grows up in America, so in America that's, you know, crazy, preposterous that you wouldn't tell somebody that they're sick. But in the Asian culture, it's just how it is. It really is. And you get to see those different ways. And I thought it was very cool learning a little bit more. I felt like I was informed more after seeing this movie. I thought everybody in this gave great performances. I teared up a bunch of times. I'm very close to my grandmother, and I can only imagine what it would be like to withhold something like that from her. She's very joyful. The way that Nai is in this movie it really spoke to me. It really, I thought Awkwafina gave the best performances she's ever given. I didn't know she had this type of range. I've always liked her as a comedian, and this was something that once again, I know I've said this a lot, but I think she's definitely awards worthy here, and she should be at least nominated. She's phenomenal, and the cast is so great that her performance doesn't stand out because they're all so great. But like I said, she's the main character of this, so you see a little bit more of her. But just the way you get to kind of live in this space and get to learn more. And not a lot of movies teach you things when you're watching them. This one definitely taught me some things. And I instantly called my grandmother after this film, let her know I love her, and checked on her and things like that, because it really, really spoke to me. Not a lot of movies do that, but this one definitely did. This and Marriage Story, you know, they really, really spoke to me emotionally. And I'm not a huge emotional guy all the time. I can be, but I'm not all the time. But these movies definitely made me emotional, but none like The Farewell. None made me smile, cry, laugh, go through the whole emotional roller coaster the way The Farewell did. And that's why The Farewell is my number one movie of the year. But like I said, what is you guys' list? We'll just go over my list again. It was number 10, 1917. Number 9, Queen and Slim. Number 8, Dr. Sleep. Number 7, El Camino. Number 6, Uncut Gems. Number 5, The Lighthouse. Number 4, Avengers Endgame. Number 3, Joker. Number 2, Marriage Story. Number 1, The Farewell. I would love to know what your guys' list is. If you could put that down in the comment section below and just give your thoughts about things and some of the great movie experiences you had this year. I would really appreciate it. I really want to hear those stories. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and share. More videos to come. Until next time, peace. Yo, it's Joe. If you enjoyed my content, please like, subscribe, and share, and follow me on my various social media pages. Thank you.